Hi everybody, this is Paul Cooper with Totes and Notes. Been a little late this week getting my video out for the Market Meltdown. Been really busy. I'm currently in Las Vegas. I'm doing some training here with Scott Carson and really ramping up the marketing and some other strategies to bring everyone some more notes and some better quality notes. So that'll be good. And this week, we're going to start first on Zero Hedge. In our first article, I saw this a few days ago and I knew I was going to have to put this in the Market Meltdown. It's pretty good. 2/3 of rich kids depend on parents' inheritance to maintain their lifestyle. So, as young people continue their through life with a negative net worth, they're blowing through all their money, and it's all good while mom and dad are paying for it. But now some of them are kind of out on their own, and they're really depending on their parents to leave them a lot of money so they can maintain that lifestyle. So, just kind of a humorous little article. I try to laugh at it because otherwise, if you really start thinking about it, you can get kind of sad. But anyways, real short, quick, kind of funny. Let's move on to the next one. All right, our second article is Mortgage Prison, and it's talking about Sydney, Australia, and they're just crazy housing market. Australia in general, the major cities on the coast just seen astronomical levels of appreciation. The homes there are several of hundreds of thousands of dollars, make most of our cities in the U.S. look very sane by comparison, and they get really, really small down payments. And this article sheds a little bit of light on that. So if you think subprime in the U.S. is bad, you should start looking overseas. Australia is just terrible. You've got people over there with roughly $600,000 homes, making maybe $40,000, and it's not sustainable, and it's in a very, very large bubble, and but it was just a nice little article talking about that, and that's the thing. There are parallels in other markets, not just the U.S., and you'll kind of see that as you broaden your view, and then start connecting the dots there. And hopefully they'll be able to get under control, but honestly, it's so bloated that they're in for some hurt. All right, our third and final article for Zero Hedge before we move over to Housing Wire is on millennials and how they have no savings, but they still want to retire at 61 and have all these benefits and travel the world and everything. So it's kind of funny, it's talking about my generation. Apparently, we're the worst generation ever, so that's great. But got this nice little picture here. Hello, I'm a millennial, and he's flipping everyone the bird. Just goes in real quickly, and honestly, you guys probably don't even need to read this article to know what's going on. There's no savings when wages are stagnant and all the costs of living are have been increasing year after year, and so much of your money is having to go to just maintain a halfway decent lifestyle and pay for rent. How can you possibly save? So just confirms that most people in America have a negative net worth, and especially if they're millennials. All right, so let's move on over to Housing Wire. All right, so our first article with Housing Wire is talking about new mortgage tech and how long it's taking companies to implement it. You think that it wouldn't really take that long, especially in modern age, but it takes a little longer than most of these companies think. There's a good little infograph here, how long they expected it would take, and versus how long it actually did take. And so just getting, some of these companies don't even have basic digital portals for their borrowers, let alone a process to apply for mortgages online. You can argue if it's good or bad if you have all this stuff online, because then there's the potential for privacy breaches and other types of hacking. But, it's 2018, and, this stuff isn't cutting edge. And so it's kind of weird that a bunch of companies out there still don't have it. Now, it's one thing if it's a small mom and pop shop, but there are some larger companies that don't have it. And this is a short little article talking about how long it actually takes to implement it. All right, our next article is from Housing Wire. It's talking about Black and Hispanic ownership rates falling in second quarter, how minorities haven't been buying as much this quarter, but millennial home ownership rate has increased. It's kind of surprising because the last few years, there's been a huge surge in home ownership with minorities, and now it's kind of slowing down a little bit, which I thought was kind of interesting. I know we're in a bubble and that we're near the edge. It's pretty obvious to most people, but unemployment's really low not right now. So I was kind of surprised that it's that minority home ownership slowed down a little bit. Because you figure if everyone's working jobs and making some money, that it would actually increase. So it'll be interesting to see what happens the next quarter. All right, our next article actually comes from DS News, and it's talking about how HOAs potentially take advantage of first lien holders or first mortgage holders, and it's trying to make us feel bad. But here's the deal: it's talking about how, oh well, they'll go to the first mortgage should wipe out everything else when they foreclose, but HOAs will come back and say you owe all this, you owe attorney fees and everything like that. Well, some states you do owe the HOA some money, and some states you don't, and that's up to the servicers to know that and do their job. That's why if I'm going to buy in a state that does allow HOAs to survive and makes me pay for something afterwards, I'm going to look into it, and that's not going to be a surprise for me. I'm going to talk to the HOA ahead of time. And if it's in a state that they just get wiped out in foreclosure and I'm going to foreclose, then sorry for them. If I'm going to do deed in lieu or something else, then you go to them and try to work something out for a little bit less. And if they're not willing to play ball and everything's going to be really expensive, then you may just have to try to work with the borrower to get the judgment for foreclosure. So, a little bit of an interesting article. I'm not going to cry for these large servicers and the banks by any means, because they should know what they can do. And again, folks, that just comes back to knowing where you're investing and what you're investing in. All right, this last item I'm going to discuss from DS News isn't actually an article, it's an event that I saw. It's called Exploring Ethics in REOs, and it's a webinar that you can join, and it's depressing. So it's for members it's for real estate agents, brokers, and it's to help explain to them why ethics matter and what they're ethically obligated to do and how they're supposed to act if they're a fiduciary. Honestly, my honest answer or reaction to this is, shouldn't they fucking know this before they get licensed? I mean, it is so easy for these idiots to get licenses nowadays. Everyone can become a realtor. Most of them suck at their jobs. And if you're a good one, God bless you. You're in. It's the same thing with lawyers. Everyone gets a bad rap because a bunch of them are just garbage, and then the good ones out there get that bad name. Realtors are just terrible. You get all these, for lack of a better term, soccer moms. You get these wannabes. They see these stupid TV shows and like, oh, well, I can, make 3 to 6% off selling these homes, and they don't know their market. They don't know how to do their job. They don't know what the ethics are. They don't know what they're responsible for. They don't know what they're not technically responsible for, but should do anyways. What's wrong with the world? I mean, I'm glad they're doing this, so hopefully they can get some crowbars in there and pull some people's heads out of their asses. But it's a little bit infuriating. So what should be the takeaway from this? When you're dealing with these people, you need to realize that most of them, I'm not going to say stupid, but I'm going to say ignorant. They don't know what they don't know, and they don't know what they should know. And you just be careful. Always, they're out to get paid, folks. They're not there for you. If they can get paid well and they don't have to go out of their way to make sure that you're taken care of, but you're taken care of anyways, then they'll be happy, I'm sure. But they're there for themselves, folks. This is just infuriating. Sorry for the explicit language there, but it is what it is. And I think we'll end on this note for this week's Market Meltdown. Hope you're all having a good week. If you have any questions or comments or anything you'd like me to cover, please reach out to me. I'm going to be really busy over the next few days. So if I don't get back to you immediately, then I'm sorry. If it's really important, my phone number's out there. Give me a text message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And I hope you're all doing really well. Thank you.